Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome an accomplished marketer talking to us for a second time from India, Mr. Atul Raja. Atul, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ashutosh. It's a pleasure to be with you once again.
Thank you. Atul is, in his new avatar, a marketing consultant and a fractional CMO. So, Atul, my first question, you've spent over 2 decades leading marketing teams for major brands. What inspired you to start off on your own in the role of a marketing consultant and a fractional CMO?
Yeah, Ashutosh, after spending 2 decades and steering global marketing mandates,
Mm,
uh, I felt it was the time of reckoning.
mm,
After some period of time, you tend to reflect on your journey. And I felt it was time to realign my energy
mm,
to something more entrepreneurial, to something more purpose driven.
mm.
And having mentored a lot of startups in India and worked very closely with SMEs and having known that space, I really felt that there was a big gap in terms of marketing support
Mm,
and also in terms of the right marketing perspective that this space has.
mm.
And I thought if I jump in, this is the right time to be able to work in this space, especially not only this space,
Yeah,
but especially this space to make, and there is a lot of opportunity to make a difference.
correct.
As far as moving from consultancy to the fractional CMO concept, I think again in this space there is this, opportunity to provide that edge of seasoned leadership again without the baggage of too much fat pockets, and also to get some agility into the system. That's the value that a fractional CMO brings in.
Right. Fantastic. And as you reflect on your own career, what are some of the most transformative marketing projects you have led? And what lessons have you learned from these?
Yep. Uh, Let me just speak about project in detail, and I just want this comes to my mind, and I want to cover it because not many marketeers have the privilege to do this in their entire career, and this is something called as surrogate marketing, which is like phenomenal, and it's remarkable to undergo that process.
Right.
So when I was handling a brand called Royal Challenge, it's an iconic brand in the IMFL premium category. It's an iconic liquor brand. When I was handling Royal Challenge as a national product manager, at that point of time, it was a market leader in this segment.
Mm,
But then the pressure of competition at that point of time from the competing brands of the UB group was huge.
mm, mm.
You get up in the morning, you see a soda ad in the newspaper, you're going to sleep, you see, a jingle and, mineral water ad, and they were all over the place. The way their awareness was mind boggling, and they were able to create a lot of traction in a space which was not allowed traditionally by the government to be leveraging this mass media space and being able to advertise.
Mm.
So there was this genuine concern, and as the product manager in this profile was like a typical Kotler profile. He was the father of the brand, and there was this genuine concern. What do we do about it? This is going to impact us. So I went through that entire journey, the brand journey, and mapping
Mm.
it to a consumer journey of how difficult an exercise it is to create a surrogate brand, because you have to go back end and you have to decide which is to be the best possible brand fit.
Right.
And the business implications are huge because you are moving out of your core sector.
Mm,
You have to be extra careful. Finally, we came up with golf and golf accessories as
mm,
a surrogate for Royal Challenge RC, we used to call it. And it went up to Dubai to the board for approval. It was such a big call for the organization. We launched golf and golf accessories as a surrogate for RC. We shot on the Dubai golf course. We created a, artificial aeroplane, and we shot the first commercial of RC uh, in that aeroplane. And then the journey of RC getting lot of mass media coverage began from there. And so that was a mind-boggling, transformative exercise for the brand. It was a make or break exercise at that point of time.
Right.
And very recently, I was traveling in Gurgaon, and I saw a billboard of RC Golf, and I
Mm.
said, "My God, all the years, this proposition,
Mm.
the brand has stuck. That means how strong a brand fit it was." So I
Correct.
think it was pretty transformative. This example comes to my mind.
Amazing. Thank you. Let's now talk about marketing consultant and fractional chief marketing officer. How do you define the role of a fractional CMO? And why is it increasingly important for startups and the small and medium enterprises?
Right. Ashutosh, you'll realize that the startup space and in many cases the SME space, they're very lean, right?
Right.
They are like constantly looking at where to cut corners, and very rightly so,
Correct.
because when you set up the business,
Hmm.
you have as much monies and you have more things to spend that money on.
Hmm.
So you have to do the division very carefully,
Hmm.
right? So and marketing typically is bottom of the ladder,
Hmm.
right? And the reason for that is ad spends, right? So if I am coming out of IIT Bombay or any top engineering institute, and I launch a startup, I typically as a young man would have that impression, boss, how can I spend monies on advertising? There is so
Correct.
much else to be done. And people don't realize that advertising is, and basically marketing is not about spending money all the
Correct.
time. It's about knowing your consumer.
Hmm.
It's about mapping a consumer journey. It's about, giving a right direction to your business. And
Hmm.
all the time, it just doesn't cost you money, right?
Hmm.
So, fractional CMO comes in here. Fractional CMO is like a CXO on the move, right? As I said, he gives you that strategic leadership edge
Hmm.
without any fat purse, with a lot of agility, right? And he or she has the potential to even mentor a junior team,
Hmm.
give direction not just to the organization but also to a in-house junior level marketing teams,
Hmm.
and ensure that hand-holding those teams and ensure that the deliverables are met. So
Hmm.
it's a win-win exercise if
Right.
you get a strategic leader who is largely invested in your organization
Hmm.
to help your business grow, but not fully invested at a
Right.
much lower cost
Hmm.
and with great degree of agility.
Hmm.
So
Well said.
that's the importance of a fractional CMO.
Very well said. Thank you. And based on all the work that you have done with so many organizations, what, in your view, are some of the most common mistakes businesses make when
Right.
they undervalue branding and marketing during their growth phase?
Right. So marketing typically is seen, and this is experiential, what I'm telling you, it is seen as a last mile function in many organizations,
Right.
right? And it's a critical mistake. The world has evolved, functions have evolved, marketing has evolved, but still, especially a lot of promoters are looking at marketing as a last mile function. Sab kuch ho gaya, everything is done, now let's go to marketing to implement it, right? So last mile, I mean implementational function.
Hmm.
By last mile, I mean, okay, now everything is done. Now let's bring in marketing to support the sales,
Hmm.
right? So it is a grave mistake. People do it at their own peril. They don't leverage the potential of marketing,
Hmm.
right? Marketing is actually the core of your business model.
Mm.
And if you don't look at it like that, it's a great mistake. To all the folks listening right now,
Mm.
marketing is foundational, it is not a luxury, right? So I think that is the message I want to give. So that's mistake number one. Mistake number two is from the marketeer's side, right? There's a lot of me in communication that sometimes comes along, right?
Right.
Like you shout from the rooftop, "I am the best. I have so much penetration." Or you throw so many data figures, but in your quest to promote and showcase the organization as the very best, you forget what's in it for the consumer, right?
Right.
So when you are communicating, the primary objective of the communication obviously and always should be what is the consumer benefit. It is secondary to highlight the bigness or the wherewithal of the organization. I think these are two mistakes
Very interesting.
that
Very
people
interesting.
normally should take care of.
Thank you. Your approach also emphasizes a business first philosophy.
Right.
How do you integrate a business first philosophy into a marketing strategy?
Right. We have been talking about it till now. Like, marketing is not releasing an ad, or marketing is not implementing, what is just decided in the board and a new product is getting launched and you just go ahead and promote it.
Mm.
So typically, marketing is not equal to promotions, is not equal to advertising. Marketing is a strategic core function of the organization and is a key growth driver. I
Mm.
mean, so, but if you look at it, marketing like that, how do you do it, right? So typically, you need a brand immersion. Like when I talk to any client, the first thing is to understand his business
Mm.
as much as anybody else in the organization does.
Mm.
Everything begins from there.
Mm.
So you do a marketing audit, you do a brand audit, right? So in normal parlance you call it as brand diagnostics,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Where you ask some basic questions, right? Why is the business existing, for what reason, right? Why should even the consumer care about you?
Mm.
What is the USP of the organization, right? What does the organization, what benefit does it seek to provide to the consumers? What is the brand voice? What is the USP? What is the target audience profile, right? Once you answer these questions, and then you get into a marketing plan, you are actually making a marketing plan that delivers some kind of an ROI to the business rather than just saying, okay, fine, you need to promote yourself. And so this is what I mean by
Very
a
interesting.
business first
Yeah.
philosophy.
Yeah. And when you are looking at a business, a startup or an SME, how do you identify the specific marketing challenges and opportunities for each business?
Right. Uh, I alluded to it during my last answer to you,
Mhm.
right? When you are actually looking at a business, you need to get as many insights as possible, right?
Mhm.
Marketing is mostly potent if it is data driven, right?
Mhm.
So marketing is best utilized if it is scientifically driven. And how it is scientifically driven means you are using all the data, like the FMCG industry that I was part of very recently, right? It Let me give you that example. Uh, if you have the industry data, you know
Mhm.
which products are selling in which markets, a product line X. These are the important markets. Product line Y, these are the important markets.
Right.
Market X, this is the price point that moves. Market Y, this is the price point that moves.
Mhm.
Market A, this your distribution, numerical distribution is weak. Market B, your weighted distribution is weak. So you identify, if you study the data, if you have data insights, you can break it up easily into opportunities and challenges, right?
Mhm.
And it is both opportunities and challenges that complement each other beautifully, that help you make a market plan,
Mm.
right? If you are making a market plan to increase market share or distribution share, it's both the challenges and the opportunities that really help you do it.
Very interesting. Very interesting. In a crowded marketplace, how do you help businesses to differentiate their brands effectively? And you did give me one interesting, story from the alcohol business.
Yes. Yeah. So, there will be examples, but I use a mantra. It's called as the 4C brand mantra.
Hmm.
Right? C number one is for clarity, where you need a great in-depth understanding
Yeah.
of what is your target audience, what is the USP, and other elements of the business. Uh, C number two is courage.
Mm.
You need to have the courage to
Yeah.
put up a contrarian point of view,
Correct.
uh, which can be transformational. And, contrarian point of view is not easy to put across all
Mm.
the time. You may be in a minority,
Mm.
but then it throws up a lot of debates.
Right.
Right? So a lot of business differentiators come up from there. uh, and then you yourself are actually differentiating by something called as C number three, which we call as compress, right?
Mm.
Which is how brief you are in your articulation,
Mm.
uh,
Mm.
right? That is, you present yourself as a professional when you presenting your differentiation right as a laser sharp point of view, right?
Correct. Mm.
So brevity sometimes speaks volumes, right?
Right.
So that is the approach that you need to take. And C number four is consistency. Right? I believe consistency and brand messaging in this age of omni-channel approach
Mm.
is biggest brand unifier, right?
Mm.
If you use these four C's,
Mm.
you can actually create a great brand differentiation
Mm.
and present it to the consumer in a very simplistic manner that he can understand easily.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And Atul, how critical is storytelling
Yes.
in brand development, and what techniques do you employ to build a compelling narrative?
See, storytelling is the soul of modern branding. If you ask me, it is the biggest differentiator in marketing communications
Mm.
today. 2 3 years back, if you ask the same question, it was that would come the answer that it is the emotions. How
Mm.
do you bring emotions into it? But
Yeah.
all that is past now. Storytelling is the biggest differentiator today. I was part of a panel very
Mm.
recently in Delhi where this was the subject, and senior people were debating this, how important it is, and everybody agreed that this is the most important thing because it humanizes your value prop and it builds emotional resonance. So, and why it has become so critical today? I mean, you see the content. There's so much of content floating around today.
Mm.
Social media has exploded, right? There is so much clutter. And, so what's as a result of that, the consumer, his attention span is hugely decreased.
Mm.
As a result of that, how do you engage?
Mm.
Engagement becomes very important. As
Mm.
a result of that, the best possible engagement is actually to create a connect with him. And the
Right.
best way to create that connect is through storytelling.
Mm.
That's why it has become so critical. Uh,
Right.
like I go to any organization today, they won't talk about what are you doing with the brand.
Mm.
They'll ask you what's your brand story, right? So this is like how important storytelling has become. It
Mm.
has become a key tool for marketing today,
Right. Right.
and it is beautifully complementing the digital media that has exploded post the pandemic.
Correct.
Techniques are very simple. If
Mm.
you ask me, one is you have, in storytelling you have to be uh, as authentic as possible, as to be able to relate
Mm.
to the consumers.
Mm.
And today's world is all about viral content, right?
Mm. Mm,
But then virality and authenticity are two different opposite sides of the same coin. So
mm,
how do you balance virality and authenticity?
mm.
That is why this point has become so important. The second is to create a deal of anticipation,
Right,
curiosity, right? That's key to storytelling.
right.
Third is how do you create that magic in the very first few seconds?
Mm,
Grab the attention in the very few seconds.
mm,
Fourth is use data-based storytelling.
mm,
That way, you can uh, basically customize your story
mm.
using the hyper personalization data insights that come from various consumer data available to you. So
Well
you are
said.
making it doubly sure that your story is actually resonating with the consumers. And finally, fifth one is native media, yeah, because like the content has exploded, various media has also exploded. So how do you tweak your story native to different media? So if you do these five things, I think your storytelling campaigns can do well.
Response. Atul, I have time for two more questions. My next question is, how do you ensure marketing solutions remain cost effective for businesses, especially when they have such tight budgets?
Right. Uh, so this is a difficult question. If there was a perfect answer to this question, I mean, everybody may have a lean budget today, but there are certain SOPs here that marketers use. One is leverage your own media to the fullest. There is this tendency, and we have this tendency in day-to-day life also. If you have a car, the other person's car is much better.
Mm,
So you don't tend to look inwards, right? So similarly, leverage your own media. By I say leverage your own social handles, leverage your own websites,
mm,
right? And utilize, the organic traffic and your marketing techniques. So that becomes much more cost effective. Second is use smart content. Or when I say smart content, I mean content that can be repurposed easily. So you're not spending too much of bandwidth, too much on cost. And I'm saying this is because content marketing is coming out in a very big way. It
right.
can be very costly. So use content very smartly, and so that you can repurpose it across various channels. Third is use there are a lot of open source marketing automation tools available.
Mm,
And there are paid ones also. Within paid, there are two categories. One are very expensive, and one are it doesn't matter too much to your advertising or marketing budget. So
mm,
start using those tools,
mm,
right? Then run targeted campaigns. So that becomes the wastage factor becomes very less. And finally, this influencer marketing thing is very important when it comes to cost savings, because if you go to big influencers, it can be very expensive. So look at what we call as nano influencers, look at what we call as micro influencers, where at a nominal cost they can give you a thousands worth of reach, whereas a very huge lakhs worth of cost, you will get few lakhs worth of reach. So
mm.
build up your influencer marketing efforts through nano and micro influencers and use affiliate marketing with influencers. By affiliate marketing, I mean you pay as you spend,
Mm.
right? So you pay them
Yeah,
as you get some revenue out of your efforts. So
mm.
these are some of the things that can help
Very
optimize your
interesting.
costs and
Great
spend.
response. Great response. And my last question for you, and this is for all my viewers and listeners. Can you tell us about a story, scenario, or a brand where you turned it around because of your own strategies into a growth success story?
Right. So I'll give you an example, something very similar to what you're looking for, maybe not exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, I used to years back handle a brand called VSOP X Show. In South, brandies are very, prominent, and the consumption is much higher in the South. And I'm giving you this example because there is a great learning here and it touches upon some of the original things that we discussed in this podcast. So this was a brand that used to sell mainly in Kerala, South Indian state. And, the brand was going like sliding down at a hurricane pace. And, there was this situation. Normally, people have answers. If they don't have answers, they have some ideas. But this was a situation where nobody has any idea as to what's happening. So I was based in Mumbai. So I traveled from Mumbai to Kerala just to understand what's happening because even the sales team couldn't give any answer. So I went to all the bars in Kerala and at least the major towns. And I talked to all the bartenders. I talked to all the drunk customers. And, I came back with a very strange feedback that once the consumers started having the regular consumers, the brandy, they had a very caustic or a burning taste in their throat. And it turned out to be a product related issue. And the manufacturing team, despite their reservations, really struggled to fix the problem, right? And finally, the problem was fixed. The brand grew up the ladder. It was a market leader in that space. And then it went down the ladder, I said. It achieved market leadership once again. Now, why I'm giving you this example? For a marketeer, it's very easy to sit in the boardroom or even to look at data on an Excel file and strategize. Something that I have assiduously followed throughout my career. First, I go out in the market, whichever sector, to understand. I never take any feedback given in office on the face its face value, and the learnings are phenomenal, right? And you can actually build up those learnings into your marketing plans with a great deal of conviction. Then, so this was an ideal case where it was a market-led issue, it was a product-led issue, rather than so. As a father of the brand or as a marketeer, you need to look at the market and the product as well, not just the promotion. So there is this great learning here.
Very interesting. And on that note, Atul, I just want to say thank you so much for speaking to me about your own journey. I think we covered some very interesting points in your discussion with me as a marketing consultant and a fractional CMO. I think what you have said are so, it's so important for small companies, startups to get the benefit of wisdom and learnings on marketing strategy from people like yourselves. Thank you for speaking to me about different aspects of marketing, the challenges they face, and all the potential that exists. Thank you again, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.